Welcome into the first ESPN FC of 2021, a year that starts with Manchester United now level on points at the top of the table after a 2-1 victory against Aston Villa. Here to discuss it with us, Stevie Nicol, Julien and Ian Darke. Ian, we've seen a lot of dross in the Premier League over the last couple of weeks. This was an excellent game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think a few teams have been looking off the boil, but this really was a very, very exciting game, and full credit to Aston Villa, who put on quite a performance. It wasn't quite enough on the night. Manchester United, who'd have thought it? They were 15th on November the 1st. Since then, they've taken 26 points out of the last 30. They obviously look very, very dangerous going forward at the moment, and they do look a bit of a different team. Whether they can sustain it, we'll see. I was looking up just now the fixtures. They play Liverpool at Anfield on January the 16th.
Wow, wow. Stevie, what's changed during the last couple of months that have seen United put in this run?
Well, I think Pogba, particularly today, has shown that he's coming back. He's got actually better and better during this run when he's come on as a sub, and now that he's starting. So that makes a huge difference. And then you've got Rashford and Fernandes, who as a pairing, just how do you mark them? I mean, it's tough to mark Rashford with the runs he makes, and it's tough to find out where Bruno Fernandes is. You know, he's constantly in motion. He's very hard to deal with, very hard to pick up, and he can pick a pass. And so they're creating chances. I mean, my goodness, they could have had, what, 5 or 6 goals today with what they created. I think they've gotten a little fortunate defensively. They've gotten away. Certainly they got away with it today, and in previous games they've made mistakes. And actually, the man that we've all questioned previously, De Gea, has been making saves like he did today. So it's a combination of how good they are going forward. De Gea certainly looks back in form, and they've got a little stroke of luck here and there.
Go on then, Jules. Say nice things about Paul Pogba.
I was waiting for the question. I was hoping you would ask it. But we said last night, didn't we? We said on yesterday's show that when he's in that kind of form, he's a starter every day in that team, and he brings so much to that team. He recovers the ball on the first goal. He gets the penalty on the second one. There's a lot of creativity. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of work rate as well. It's when he doesn't fancy it and when he's not, you know, on a good day that obviously there's questions about his place in the team. But we've always said from the beginning of the season, wait until he's fit. And once he's fit, things will be different because he needs to be fully fit to be able to express himself like he did tonight.
He was great, wasn't he, today, Ian?
Yeah, Pogba was very commanding. I mean, he's got to be doing that every week. He obviously hasn't done that every week amid all the various stories we've heard from his agent at Old Trafford, which have been, frankly, disruptive. But when you see him playing like that, like he plays for France or like he played for France at the World Cup, he walks into any team. He was super commanding out there tonight. I mean, it was interesting. Stevie said Manchester United could have had 6 tonight. That's right. But I think Villa could have had 4 as well. So it was that kind of game, rich in entertainment, and the Premier League needed it after not a great week.
Very entertaining, but also a bit of controversy as well. Penalty for you, Stevie?
Yeah, penalty kick, absolutely. Listen, it's bad defending from Douglas Luiz. You know, instead of just staying behind Pogba, making him play the ball back to Shaw, who takes the throw, or keep it simple. Instead, he's always trying to get in front of Pogba. Pogba rolls him. Now they're in the box. And when you're in the box as a defender, it's your responsibility not to get tangled up with your opponent. And that's what happens. He's behind Pogba. Pogba's left foot catches Luiz's calf. It then trips Pogba up. It is a penalty all day long, and it's poor defending. As was the first, by the way, from Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, what happened to Mings on the first one, Steve? He just seemed to just lose track of the ball, mistimed it?
He's misread it. Yeah, he's misread the flight of it. 100% misread the flight of it, and then by the time he has to react, the ball's moving at such pace he doesn't. You got to give Martial credit, though. He's made the run. It's a good centre-forwards run. He's gambled, he's concentrated, he's thinking that Tyrone Mings is going to miss it, and he does, and he puts it home. So credit to Martial.
Ian, back to the penalty. Was it right call?
Yeah, I think it was. Stevie's description of it is very good. I mean, I think we've seen way too many penalties this season. We're heading for a record by miles. But yeah, technically it was when it was on the soft side, but it was a penalty.
Jeff Winter, the former Premier League referee, Jules tweeted out, "Never a penalty in a million years, but what do I know?"
You know better than him, I think. I mean, I think we all know. Who is he anyway? I mean, what era, what decade was he refereeing? Because if that's not a pen, and he would have been sat in front of his TV like us, with all the replays and everything, where you clearly see that is a pen, and it was given by the ref. It was backed up by the VAR as well. So I don't know where it's coming from on that one.
Jules, if it wasn't given, do you think VAR would have then given it? Was it one of those?
I think it was a clear. It would have been a clear and obvious mistake by the referee if he had not given that one. It's not a one where we always said, "Oh, I've seen those given" or "I've seen those not given." I think it was clear enough, in my opinion at least, that if the ref had missed it because maybe he wouldn't have seen it properly, or maybe he was not too sure about it, I think VAR would have rectified it and given it.
Ian?
I'm not sure about that, whether I agree, because I'm not sure it would have been seen, had he given it the other way, as a clear and obvious error, because there was a little question of whether Pogba had caught his own back leg. But I do think when you looked at it again, it was definitely a penalty. He was caught by Douglas Luiz, but I'm not sure there'd have been an overrule. We'll never know, will we, frankly?
No.
So do we actually think... Do we actually think now that if a referee doesn't give a penalty and then it goes to VAR, I think this. I think that the VAR officials are doing everything they can not to give a penalty so as not to make the referee look bad. Regardless, instead of it's either is a penalty or it isn't, I think they absolutely, if they can help out the guy that hasn't given it, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, but it can't be, Stevie, it can't just be an alternative opinion. That's not what VAR was set up to do. It was set up to clear up serious and major errors on the original decision. Otherwise, you're just going to get the game being re-refereed.
It's definitely not black and white VAR. There are definite grey areas in some of these cases, and I'm just saying that and if there's possibly a grey area, then 100% they're going to go with the guy that never gave it.
We talked about, Ian, we've spoken about it over the last couple of weeks, how you look at Manchester United and slowly but surely they've made themselves title contenders. Are they the contenders now to Liverpool?
No, I think it's a very open year, this. I mean, it's interesting. When you look at the table now, remember the title's been won with close to 100 points. I think City got 100 and then they got 98 and then Liverpool got 99. It won't be like that this year. If you do the mathematics and project it on at the current sort of rate of points per games, this title could be won with as few as 80. Now, that's like the old days. And what it does, I think, is it lets in a possible outsider, maybe like a Leicester City, to get a far more serious chance than you might have given them at the start of the season. And remember, too, that the big clubs have got to play European football in the second half of the season, and the other teams will get far more clear weeks. So they'll have maybe fresher legs. So it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating title race. A weird one, but fascinating nonetheless.
What do you think, Jules?
I don't know. I still don't think this United team has the collective strength and the collective unity to be able to go all the way for the remaining, how many games, 22 games left in the season, to be able to compete with Liverpool all the way to the end and push them really far. That collective strength might come a bit later in the season, maybe, but I still think that right now they still rely on those moments of brilliance, that we saw. The first goal, okay, is the build-up is good and it's a good team goal, I guess. But overall, I think too much is still down to individuals more than the strength of your team as a collective. And I think unless you have that, it's still really hard to go and compete for a title. When you face a team like Liverpool or Man City and plenty of others who could also go and win the game, but who are stronger than you collectively.
Stevie?
Well, I think Liverpool is still the favourites. But, the league this year is kind of similar to when Leicester won it from nowhere. We thought all the big teams, as the season went on, would get better and better and they would falter. And it just didn't happen. Nothing changed. All the sides around them just kept dropping points and picking points up and drawing and losing and this and that. And that's kind of where it is right now. I think Liverpool are a cut above the rest. It's up to them, in my opinion. They can go and win it. But after that, it really could be one of, 4 other teams right now?
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.